All right, let's dive on in. So this is probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give you as an entrepreneur. And I found that it's one of the things that's very difficult for me to do as I was just starting out my business. Because when you first start out, you have all this energy, right? You're so excited about diving into this new business venture, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be a real estate investor like me. You can be starting an online business. You can be, doing something physical, selling physical products, opening up a store, opening up a gym. It doesn't matter. When you first start as an entrepreneur, you got all this excitement, right? And you kind of have this vision of what it's going to be like. And I know for me, I didn't know. It's not like I grew up and I was like, man, I want to be a real estate investor. I fell into real estate investing, all right? I grew up just saying, I want to be a multimillionaire. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just dreamed that I was going to be a millionaire someday. I don't know why I felt that way. And I'm sure that if you're watching this right now, you're the type of person, if you're like me, you're the type of person that doesn't think about like, oh man, I can't wait to go work at a job, right? Like you might have a job and you might be appreciative of the job, but there's something more inside you that wants to do something different. And for me, I couldn't even wrap my brain around this idea of like just growing up and doing what my parents did, what they taught me to do, which is you work. Like when I said I want to go into business and I want to start my own business, my parents sat me down and I remember I was a little kid and they said, that's not the way the world works. You go get a job and you work 6 days a week. And then on Sundays, you get to do whatever you want. You get to relax, but it's a job. That's what you do. You got to provide for your family. And that never sat well with me. I never resonated with that. I always said to myself, well, why would I want to go do that? I want to start my business. I want to control whatever I do. I don't want to just go and do that. That doesn't sound like a fun life. I want to do what I'm passionate about. I didn't know what I was passionate about, but that's just how I thought. I felt that way, and you might feel the same way. And so when you start off and you got all this energy, you kind of got this vision of what I thought it was going to take like a year max to become a millionaire. Like I didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it really is. I thought it was just going to be like, boom, I do what I'm passionate about. I start my business and bang, I'm rich, right? I'm happy. I'm rich. I get to do whatever I want. Obviously, that's not the reality of how things work. I started many businesses that failed miserably along the way, and I've had many failed partnerships and stuff. But what I learned along the way is that successful people learn to follow advice, okay? And the key is developing an internal compass to follow the right advice. Let me explain. When you first start, you almost have this vision. It's so clear of what you want to do that you're not very good at following advice, right? You just kind of like charge towards something. But what ends up happening is everybody starts throwing their opinion at you, and you end up in this situation where you're all of a sudden getting hit with all these pieces of opinions and advice that you start getting confused. And maybe it's taken longer than you originally expected, and the things that you were doing aren't exactly working the way you were hoping. And so all of a sudden you start taking these little pieces of advice and trying to figure out, well, maybe I should do that, or maybe they're right over here and I should try to add that to my thing, and over here. And what ends up happening is you don't do a very good job in the beginning of taking advice. And majority of the time you're taking advice from the wrong people. So what I've learned over time is that successful people search out the right type of advice and follow it and trust it. Trust the process and trust the advice. So many times we get stuck in a rut and we go to our friends who are losers that don't have any financial capabilities. They're not successful. And we go and talk to them about our challenges, and they give us advice, and we try to follow it. For some weird reason, people do this over and over and over again. That does not lead you towards success. It's not going to work. And I know for me, as a rule breaker, like entrepreneurs are rule breakers. Entrepreneurs are boundary pushers, right? And when you're a rule breaker and a boundary pusher, it's really hard to take advice. And sometimes our ego gets in the way, especially if we have a little bit of success in the beginning. So I want to encourage you today to take a step back and realize I need to start taking advice from the right type of people. I need to stop listening to all of this noise that's going on around me. If you're not super successful, if you're not financially capable, and I don't look up to you financially, I don't want to hear you talk to me about money. If you don't have the happiest marriage I've ever seen in my entire life, I don't want relationship advice from you, right? If I don't look at you and go, wow, this person's designed a life that's literally, they're traveling and they're so happy and they got a zillion friends, I don't want advice about how to design a life that allows me to have complete freedom like that. I'm sick and tired of getting advice from bozos and losers. Successful people hunt down extremely successful people, and they get advice from them, and they learn how to break through to that person and get into their inner circle and get advice from them, and they trust the process and they follow that advice because, like you've heard in the past, success leaves clues. And if you are following the wrong advice, you're going to fail every single time. It's a guarantee. Period. It's the number one reason I'm successful. I decided one day that I was going to stop wasting my time, because in the beginning of business, I thought, man, I got to go out and make all these people happy. I got to go out and build all these relationships. I have to, absorb all these pieces of information. And I found myself sitting on forums, going to every seminar under the sun, buying every course, buying every boot camp, doing all these things, thinking that all these people were successful, more successful than me. All these people must know something that I don't. And all I did was waste an entire year following people, listening to people that really weren't that successful. They might have been good sales people, but they weren't actually successful. I didn't take the time to look deep enough to hunt down the big dogs, the biggest people in the game. I was just finding all these, people that were putting on seminars and stuff, thinking that, okay, let's try this, without any real research. There was no real connection there. It was just, I bought a course, I went through it, I couldn't figure it out, and I failed miserably my first year. So, find good people and mirror exactly what they're doing. Jesus says, I need to learn to take advice. Dude, me too, man. It's ego. You got to drop the ego and get out of your own way, because you have taken yourself as far as you can up to this point. You've got yourself here. But how do you get to that next level of life? How do you develop more capabilities and design a life that has more happiness, more joy, more fulfillment? Well, you got to go find somebody that has all those things. You can't get there on your own. You've taken yourself as far as you can go. But so many times we find ourselves wasting time with the wrong people. Wayne says, me too. Dude, and it sucks, man. Isn't that a shitty feeling? It's the worst feeling in the world, where you don't get any real support. When somebody sells you something and you don't get any real support. You don't actually get the help that you deserve. And the reason they don't give it to you is because they're not really successful themselves. They haven't been there. And here's a good example. If I wanted to climb a mountain, let's say I wanted to climb Mount Everest, and I know that I'm going to risk my life to do this. I know that I'm going to hire and search out somebody who not only has climbed Mount Everest before and made it back down. I want to find somebody and build a relationship with them that has climbed Mount Everest before, came back down, done it again, came back down, then turned around and brought other people to the top of Mount Everest and brought them back down, right? I want to find that person. Not just did it one time for themselves, but have shown others time and time again how to do it. Those are the type of people you need to hunt down. And you need to treat your business like your life depends on it. Because if you don't, and you don't take it that seriously, you're going to fail. Because most businesses do. This is a fact. It's stats. It's numbers. And that's the truth. I got a friend who's a general contractor and wanting to start real estate flipping, but I just have no idea what the right choice is. Spend my life savings on this or purchase my first home before getting into this. What are your thoughts? Zach, I think the number one thing that you got to think of is you got to invest in yourself. Your number one investment you could ever make is in yourself. And I know this is scary, but if you don't take the time to invest in yourself, I'm telling you right now, and you don't learn the skills, you're going to end up learning through the school of hard knocks one way or another. And you could end up getting really, really hurt if you go out there and you wing it. You try to buy a house, try to buy a piece of real estate, and you don't know what you're doing. You could screw things up pretty bad. You could get lucky and everything can go fine, but you can also screw some stuff up. And if you just want to buy a single house, I say just go buy a house. If you want to build a investing business, I say invest in yourself. And you got to think of yourself like a tree. All right? This is my best advice I can give you. You need to think of yourself like a tree. All right? When a seed of a tree goes into the ground, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to sprout very, very quickly, okay? And it's going to get some momentum and it's going to sprout very, very quickly, but it didn't take the time to put its roots down into the ground, and the first storm that comes by blows the tree over. That was cool. The first storm that comes by blows the tree over. But look at bamboo. Bamboo, the seed goes in the ground. A year later, there's nothing. 2 years later, there's nothing. 3 years later, there's nothing. 4 years later, there's nothing. Then all of a sudden, in the 5th year, there's a 50-foot tall bamboo. It shoots out in this crazy growth, unbelievable, explosive growth. And you say to yourself, how is that possible? That's because for the first 4 years, it was planting its roots really, really deep. And it took the time to strengthen the foundation before it worried about the explosive growth. The explosive growth came because it invested in itself. And I think that you need to spend as much time, money, energy in investing in yourself as humanly possible. So don't look at it as an expense, right? Look at it as a long-term growth strategy to design a life where you have capabilities to sustain the life you truly deserve. That's my best advice. Out of all the sessions I've got from you, Cody, these little sessions are by far the most valuable. Thanks, dude. Smart way of thinking, continue to guide your way. Thanks, Walter. Appreciate that, dude. You know, people say you're so motivational, and I really am not a motivational type of person. I'm not. Like, should have heard me in the car when the dude cut me off 30 minutes ago. I was freaking out. You know, I'm like everybody else. I'm a hot mess 99% of the time. I just know how to bounce back. I understand how to reframe quickly. I've learned a lesson or two along the way, and I still have a lot more to learn, but I love that I'm able to share some of this stuff with you guys. What's up, Brian? Torsten said, tree, baby. Mike Spears says, I purchased the Fast Track, but I don't know where to start. This is what I would do if I was going through that training. I would go all the way through it, and I would really focus on learning the language of real estate. I would take great notes. I would focus on modules 1 and 2, and I would stop putting so much pressure on myself to go get a deal done. I would take it one step at a time. I would worry about setting my business up, and I would focus most of my energy on getting on the phones and talking to people. Networking and phones, right? Those would be the two things I would focus 99% of my energy on. I wouldn't worry about getting the perfect, desk and computer setup. I wouldn't worry about my to-do list. I wouldn't worry about, saying everything perfect, mastering everything before I did anything. My motto would be fire, ready, aim. Fire, ready, aim, baby. I just need to get on the phones and fumble through it, right? And after 200 phone calls, I'm going to start getting good. I'm going to start figuring out what works and what doesn't. We got some amazing phone scripts in the Fast Track. We got some amazing phone training videos. We have in-person training videos of how to network properly and how to talk to people. Just learn the language of real estate and don't put so much pressure on yourself the first few months. Like, dude, it takes a long time to build a successful business. Kenneth said, I just listed my house in Santan Valley. Damn, dude, are you advertising on my feed? Kenneth, you're a marketing monster. Don't do that, Kenneth. Mike Spears, watch the videos. It's self-explanatory. Cody does an awesome job of laying it out. Thanks, dude. Danica says, build a strong foundation of support and resources. Clever. Best support out there. Heck yeah. Finchifus. I'm going to just call you Finn, dude. I like Finn. Finn says, yes, I was thinking just that when dealing with my bonsai roots. Dude, the guy's a bonsai root transplanting finster. Zach says, thank you, Cody. Hello. New here, checking in from Cleveland, Ohio. Dude, you're in a great market, dude. You should be out there wholesaling tons of houses. Use transactional funding, though. They don't like assignments in Ohio all that much. So use double closing or transactional funding or raise private capital. That's awesome. Keep it real. Troy says, I'm ready to sign up. Boom, baby. Wayne says, you the man, bro. You the man, Wayne. I'm jiving while listening to you to my job. Wish I could spend the day with you. Someday, you never know. You never know. Hey, I got a live event coming up in Scottsdale here in August. I think it's like the middle of August sometime. If you guys want to get some early bird tickets to that, I haven't even started selling tickets yet. Put in the comments if you want to come to the live event and you want to hook up on some tickets. I can probably open it up to some of you guys that are following on my social. Do that a little early. So just put, let me get, put something like, give me event information, something like that, and we'll DM you with what's going on. Appreciate the words of encouragement. Thanks. Appreciate the shout out. Torsten, phone equals success. That's right. Torsten's one of the best investors in the game, dude. One of our mentors here at Clever Investor. The guy's a monster. Ryan says the lights will never be green at the same time. What he's talking about is there's never a perfect time to start. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. Just frickin' do it. Do it! Dang. Isn't Cody cute, y'all? Yep. Church, Cody, I'm in the process of wholesaling right now, and it ain't easy finding transactional funding. Is that what I should focus on at the moment? I only recommended that for Ohio because Ohio is pretty strict. Their real estate agents did a dang good job lobbying to put wholesalers on notice. It's not illegal, but they want you to take properties down and actually have an intention to buy in Ohio. So there's workarounds. If you're not in a state like that, though, I would say just use assignments and double closings and don't worry about transactional funding. But that's my best advice. What up, investor from Boston? What up, Mark? Common sense ain't so common anymore. Yup. All right. Torsten says, success comes from the Clever Investor team. Yeah, baby. Ryan says, I like your advice yesterday. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Yep. It's it's one of the keys to success, because so many people kill their future potential by settling. They chill. People are chilling way too much. If you want to win in business, your energy levels got to be at like 1,000. Like, you got to be like firing on all cylinders, screaming from the top of the mountain what you do to everybody. You got to be the driver. You got to be ambitious. You got to be bold. And if you're chilling, you're totally going the wrong direction. You're going to kill your future potential. All right. I got to go. I got some breakfast burritos I got to make. If you guys like this message, okay, let me see the little thumbs, the little hearts. Come on. Give it to me, baby. By the way, this is what I mean by just freaking do it. Fire, ready, aim. You want to see my setup for this video? That's how I get ready for a video. I put the kid's car seat and I just hit live. That's it. Stop overthinking. Don't make it perfect. Just freaking do it. All right, I'll send you off with some motivation. Which one do you like better? The Lambo or the Razor? Which one should I drive to work today? All right, I gotta go. Take care, comb your hair. FlipHousesBook.com is a free book. Teach you how to make money wholesaling houses. Love you guys. See you guys next time.